If you clicked on this, you most likely have an anxious attachment style. And if you know anything about attachment styles, you know that people who have an avoidant attachment style are turned off and want to get away from people who are anxious. So, how would someone who has a secure attachment style deal with an avoidant pulling away? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. Hi, this is Lucia. I'm a dating and relationship expert specializing in helping you get your ex back or to get over your ex. And welcome back, my beautiful no contact army. If you have downloaded my app Silencio, I would really appreciate it if you would give it either a rating or a review in the App Store or on Google Play. And if you too would like to join our no contact army, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and you're in. And to read our manual, go to nocontactsecrets.com, where you can read 2 free chapters before you purchase the book. So you're dating an avoidant and you're sensing that they're pulling away, and your first instinct is to do what? To chase. But as you've probably found out on your own, that's not going to work. So what do you do instead? What would someone who has a secure attachment style do? Well, first, ask yourself, are they really pulling away? Or are you so hyper vigilant that any minor change sends you off the deep end and you see it as pulling away? So once you determine that they are actually pulling away, anxious or secure, you're going to feel anxiety. Yes, even secure people feel anxiety, but they deal with it differently than someone who's anxious. They see it as a sign that something's not right and they do something about it, which does not involve begging or chasing the other person. That's because they've learned to sit with their negative emotions rather than running away from them. And they realize they're not going to die from their anxiety. I know it feels like it, but you're not. And people often see anxiety as a big monster that's chasing them, and they have to run away. And they don't realize it's just a cute little messenger that's trying to get your attention and give you a message. And once they stop running and turn around and face the anxiety, they realize it's actually not as bad as they thought it was. That way you can act instead of react. And fun fact, did you know that gratitude and anxiety cannot live in the brain at the same time? So when you start to become anxious and want to go back to your evil ways of chasing your avoidant down, instead start becoming grateful. Think of everything that you can be grateful for and say it out loud. Even simple things like, I'm so grateful the sun came out today. I'm grateful I had something to eat for breakfast. I'm grateful I'm healthy. I'm grateful I have a roof over my head, etc., etc. This brings you into the present moment, because when you have anxiety, you're projecting your fears into the future. And when you get rid of it, you come back to the present. Now, I watched several other videos on this topic that I'm speaking on today, and everyone was saying that when the avoidance starts to pull away, a secure person would speak with them. And I just laughed. That's the avoidant in me laughing, because they forget who they're dealing with. They're dealing with an avoidant. And what does an avoidant like to do? That's right, avoid. So you can certainly try to speak to them, but what if they won't speak with you? And in fact, I pulled a couple of comments from one of those videos from people who were in that exact situation. And the first guy said, I did this with my ex-girlfriend last month, and as mature and loving of a manner as possible, she accused me of being angry, complaining, and controlling, and then she pulled away more. So I ended it with her and told her that I wanted a relationship that reciprocates love. Yeah, because if they don't want to talk, they don't want to talk. It doesn't matter how loving you are. They're going to see it differently. And then the other person said, bold to assume this conversation even gets had in the first place. I'm about as non-threatening as they come, and I've been waiting a month for this conversation to be had, with absolutely no communication. For the sake of clarity, I already let her know I've noticed something is off, and I'd like to discuss it. The secure response is to leave, and that's exactly what I've done. I'm not doing this to myself. Exactly. And by the way, if you're finding this helpful, I would appreciate if you would give it a like. That way we can help the YouTube algorithm to suggest it to other people, and we can help other people figure out how to deal with their avoidant pulling away. Okay, so what would a secure person do when dealing with an avoidant who's pulling away? Well, you cannot say anything for a period of time, and in the meantime, work on your anxiety, because they may be going through something, or maybe they just need some space. However, if it gets to a point where it's been going on for too long, or you're too anxious, then obviously you're going to need to speak with them. So a secure person would think, well, I have no factual information, because feelings aren't facts. So we have to have a conversation, and if we can fix it, great. Otherwise, I'll move on. I'm not looking for someone else to choose me. I choose myself. I'm good alone. I don't want someone who doesn't want me. And if I do want someone who doesn't want me, does this remind me of someone in my childhood? And I'm hoping that this time it'll turn out differently, and I won't be abandoned, and I will be chosen. You didn't know this was going to get deep now, did you? So a secure person would say something like, I want to share something with you. I feel like there's a shift in our dynamic. Am I right? Hopefully they'll be honest if something is going on, and they'll tell you. And then you can have a conversation about it. And if they're willing to talk, then you can ask for what you want. Don't say it's what you need, because that comes across as needy, especially to an avoidant. Oh, I need this. We're like, oh, great. You don't need it. You think you need it. You want it, but you don't need it. And ask if they're willing to make that change. And if they're not, then you need to decide if you can live with them doing or not doing whatever it is you want. So if they say yes, they'll make the change, then you wait and see if they follow through. And if they don't, and if in fact they pull away even further, what are you going to do? Well, a secure person would walk away because they're not getting what they want in a relationship. And they're not going to stay hoping that the person will change or that the person will choose them and act right. Instead, they choose themselves, and they choose to walk away and find someone who will communicate and who will give them what they want. So if you have an anxious attachment style and you're listening to this and you're afraid of losing the relationship, then you have to ask yourself, what exactly are you losing? Someone who doesn't care enough about you to give you what you want? Someone who doesn't care enough about you to communicate? You're too focused on how you feel about them instead of what you should actually be focused on, which is how you feel in the relationship. How does the relationship make you feel? And if you don't feel good because they're constantly pulling away, then you need to love yourself enough to move on. Don't invest in someone who's not investing in you. Okay? Now I want to hear from you. How long have you been in no contact, and how is it going? And if you would like my help to get your ex back, you can contact me at theartoflove.net, and we will send you the rates. They are not on the website, and the direct link is below every single video and podcast. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. If you're listening to this as a podcast, please rate and review. And finally, remember, love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.